babies ain't money getting. They'll hurt you, kill you, and eat out your icebox as they break in your house. I'm not battling with childhood like a YB fan. Them kids need to be put in mental institutions. This man, YB, sound like he angry. He want to out his mama. He want to beat his daddy. He want to his uncle. I don't want to hear that kind of shit. I'm not in pain. I'm a money get. YB babies ain't money getting. I don't feel that. That's not soul music. I'm a soulful brother. I'm not in pain. Them kids need to be put in mental institutions. You see they had that for medical?
So you want to make a video dancing around like a ballerina, and then you got a man on his knees smoking a crack pipe, and you're saying Cottrell is evil and he's a bad influence. So you want to go and put that man on his knees and put a crack pipe in his mouth on a video, right?
Even say this perm having name. You just want to bring it top up. Say, bro, man, you be relevant, and I said what I said, bro. You need a like me to keep you.
There are rap beefs. And then there are digital demolition derbies where fan bases crash into each other so hard the algorithm files an injury claim. And today's chaos. This one makes the Kardashians look like a silent meditation retreat. Because the moment NLE Choppa dropped that KO diss track, the whole internet started shaking. But NBA YoungBoy's fanbase didn't just shake. They detonated. Within hours, YB supporters were flooding timelines with rumors. Leaks, whispers, edits, fake screenshots, and a generated nonsense so wild it looked like a conspiracy documentary made by people running on Wi-Fi and rage. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. According to YoungBoy fans, Choppa wasn't just dissed. He was humiliated, exposed, sonned, and spiritually escorted out the rap conversation. And they didn't stop there. They dug up old tweets. Dragged out DL rumors Choppa begged the internet to delete. And spammed the timeline with Charleston White clips, calling YB's music, mental hospital energy, and calling Choppa a runway model gone rogue. Meanwhile, Choppa fans were crying, coping, glitching, and typing essays like they were defending someone in a murder trial. This didn't feel like beef. This felt like an internet ambush, and the craziest part. This leak wave didn't start randomly. It was triggered. The chaos didn't start with a diss track. It started with a feeling that tension in the air when two rappers are pretending they don't care, but their fan bases are already sharpening knives like it's a community event. NLE Choppa had been quiet for years, minding his peace, talking spirituality, and posting positive quotes. But the moment he dropped that KO diss track, the internet realized peace was dead. Choppa walked into the booth like a man who tried meditation, tried tea, tried breathing exercises, and finally said, "Forget it, I'm choosing violence." From the first bar, he didn't come to spar. He came to cut. He called NBA YoungBoy a poison to the youth, blamed him for reckless behavior, and basically told the world YB was the reason half the internet thinks chaos is a personality trait. When he said YoungBoy was breastfed and gave him the ick, social media froze so hard you could hear people's souls disconnect. Even some Y fans blinked twice, like the disrespect hit a little too clean. Nobody expected Choppa, the positive, chakra-lined, nature-loving rapper, to go on record sounding like an angry uncle at Thanksgiving. The song exploded instantly. Millions of streams. 7 million views on YouTube. Reactions pouring in from all sides. Even rappers who hadn't tweeted in months crawled out of hiding to say, "Yeah," he snapped. The whole thing felt like Choppa had been carrying a suitcase full of unsaid frustration. And KO was him finally throwing it down on the table and daring anybody to unzip it. He wasn't making metaphors. He wasn't being poetic. He was dragging YoungBoy's influence, personality, aura, thing an entire fan base like they personally stole something from him. But the real twist? Choppa wasn't the only one who felt this way. Charleston White had been screaming this exact message for years. But nobody took him seriously because Charleston talks like a man powered by chaos. He called YB's music mental institution energy, said the youth were following the wrong leader, and claimed half the Y babies needed therapy and a hug. He had been warning the world that YoungBoy's songs weren't motivational, they were emotional landmines waiting to explode. And suddenly, KO made everyone realize Charleston wasn't just ranting, he was foreshadowing. YoungBoy's fans hated it. But here's the thing about Charleston. He doesn't care who hates him. He said YB's music sounded like somebody trying to fight their mama, their daddy, and their uncle in one afternoon. He said it wasn't soul music. It was I need help music. He said the kids listening to YoungBoy aren't smiling, they're plotting. And while Choppa tried to make his own respectful brand of positivity, Charleston came in swinging machetes, calling out entire generations with no remorse. And all of this, every insult, every tension, every whisper had been building since 2019. Long before the internet even realized a storm was forming. Back then, Choppa loved YoungBoy. He defended him, praised him, idolized him. He even dropped Free YoungBoy, a whole tribute track dedicated to YB during his arrest. At that time, Choppa looked like the president of the YB fan club. He said YoungBoy was the only rapper ahead of him. He called him an inspiration. The energy was pure respect. But then King Von passed away, and the world shifted. YoungBoy dropped Bring the Hook, dragging O-Block in a way that made the entire rap industry stand still. DJ Academics said YB was on demon time. The whole internet erupted. Lil Reese fired back. Tension spiked. And NLE Choppa, who once saluted YoungBoy, said, "I stamped that." 3 words. But those 3 words were the earthquake that split a friendship, a fan base, and the internet. The moment Choppa stamped Von's side, the internet knew YoungBoy wasn't forgetting that. Y is many things, but forgetful is not one of them. The temperature rose. Tweets got shady. Interviews got tense. Fans started choosing sides. Choppa claimed there was no beef, acted calm, talked peace, and told interviewers they were cool, but the fans weren't buying it. His words said, "We good," but his energy said, "Next question." And when he quietly changed the title of Free YoungBoy to simply YoungBoy, everyone knew that was no typo. That was a message. Then YoungBoy finally spoke. And when he speaks, his fans treat it like scripture. He called Choppa a clout chaser. Said washed-up rappers use his name for views. Said Chopper needed him for relevance. He didn't throw subtle jabs, he threw haymakers. It was the kind of disrespect that makes people check their Wi-Fi because surely they misheard something. Why hit him with a digital slap so loud even neutral fans felt the sting? And then came YoungBoy's mama. She jumped in like a mother lion defending her cub. Except her cub is a millionaire with a fan base capable of starting a digital war. She called Choppa jealous. Said he only resurfaced because her son was the hottest rapper in the game. Said Choppa was dancing like a ballerina while putting crack pipes in videos. The internet wasn't ready. They didn't expect mom-level shade. And when moms enter rap beef, it becomes generational. At this point, social media wasn't arguing, it was combusting. YoungBoy's tours had already been trending for weeks. Sold-out shows. Extra dates added. Cities bringing out drones and police reinforcements just to control crowds. He performed I Hate YoungBoy in Atlanta, a city full of rappers he dissed, and the building still shook. Academics said YB was basically the king of rap right now, maybe even Atlanta. So when his fans attacked Choppa, they attacked hard. That's when things got surgical. YoungBoy supporters dug up old tweets, old rumors, old whispers Choppa hoped the internet forgot. They pulled up the infamous "I am coming out" tweet and twisted it like pretzels. Choppa tried to clarify, tried to explain, tried to say he loved everybody, but the internet doesn't care about clarifications. They saw the tweet, smelled drama, and lit the fuse. Charleston White, in true unpredictable fashion, switched sides. 1 week ago, he said YB was poisoning the youth. Now, he was clowning Choppa, calling him a runway model. Joking that once he walked that catwalk, he forfeited street credibility forever. He said the gay crowd whistled at Choppa, and now he can't come back to the trenches barking. The internet laughed for hours. They didn't even agree with him. They just enjoyed the chaos. And suddenly, the beef wasn't just a beef. It was a meltdown. It was a showdown. It was a digital battlefield where every insult had a receipt and every rumor had a fan base behind it. CHOPPA had the words. YoungBoy had the army. Charleston had the gasoline. And the internet lit the match. The moment the KO diss track started circulating with full force, the internet turned into a digital riot. Fans weren't debating anymore. They were rioting in the comments like rappers were handing out free mixtapes and emotional trauma. Everyone had a theory, a screenshot, a fake leak, a source with zero credibility and enough energy to power a small country. And the funniest part? Half the rumors didn't even come from Choppa or YoungBoy. They came from fans with Photoshop, caffeine, and no life responsibilities. NBA YoungBoy supporters ran wild first. They are known for being loyal, unpredictable, and ready to verbally assault anyone who breathes wrong near YB's name. As soon as KO hit the timeline, YB fans started spamming clown emojis, dragging out old screenshots, posting AI-generated images, and reviving rumors Choppa begged the internet to forget. They took that "I am coming out" tweet and treated it like it dropped yesterday. They dug it up, dusted it off, and threw it at him like a weapon. Choppa supporters tried to clap back, but the YB fanbase is basically the Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Avengers combined. They drown comment sections like they're fighting a war. They flooded TikTok with edits portraying Choppa as washed, scared, and fake spiritual. They rewrote entire narratives. One viral video showed Choppa meditating while Y fans whispered L into his incense. Another meme had Choppa walking a runway while YoungBoy stood behind him with the caption, "Who taught bro this walk?" Then Charleston White decided to escalate things even further, because that's what he does best: ignite chaos. Step back and laugh like a villain in a cartoon. Last week, he said YoungBoy's music sounded like someone crying, fighting, and asking for therapy at the same time. He said why fans needed mental institutions, not mixtapes. Needed mental institutions, not mixtapes. But once KO dropped, Charleston flipped sides like a WWE character turning heel. He started dragging Choppa for walking a fashion runway. Said he looked too feminine. Said a man can't model down a catwalk and then come back to the trenches barking. People quoted Charleston like he was delivering gospel, even though half the time he talks like he's powered by Red Bull and conspiracy theories. They posted clips of him roasting Choppa, edited it with laughing emojis, and replayed his insults until they became memes. The internet didn't care whether he was right. Charleston makes content, and content fuels chaos. And chaos is the only thing the algorithm respects. But the celebrity reactions didn't stop there. Academics stirred the pot by calling YoungBoy the king of rap right now, which poured gasoline directly on the fire. When a K said YoungBoy performed "I Hate YoungBoy" in Atlanta, a hostile city for him, fans acted like he just declared YB the president of hip-hop. And once that narrative took off, Choppa fans knew they were outnumbered. It was like trying to fight a tsunami with a bucket. Twitter threads popped up, analyzing every lyric from KO people. Twisted Choppa's words, interpreted them from every angle, and posted dissertations longer than college essays about the deeper meaning behind each bar. Meanwhile, YoungBoy fans countered with their own massive threads exposing Choppa's contradictions, past statements, and anything that made him look shaky. It was less like rap beef and more like a full-blown lawn academic conference with memes. But the real explosion happened when YoungBoy finally responded publicly. He didn't rap. He didn't threaten. He didn't sneak diss. He straight up called Choppa irrelevant. He said washed rappers need his name to stay afloat. He said if dudes mention him, they get streams. He basically claimed Choppa was a hip-hop mosquito buzzing around a light he couldn't reach. And the way he said it, calm, dismissive, unimpressed, made people lose their minds. Why be saying you need a dude like me to keep you going? Hit harder than half the diss tracks released this year. Fans replayed the clip like it was a national announcement. It wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. It was worse. It was patronizing. YoungBoy effectively told Choppa he wasn't important enough to be taken seriously. And that pushed Y fans into full victory mode. Then YoungBoy's mom jumped into the ring like a WWE tag team partner ready to chair slam someone. She roasted Choppa for dancing in videos, accused him of jealousy, and mocked him for having a man on his knees smoking a pipe in one of his clips. She questioned how Choppa could call anyone a bad influence while posting that. And once a mama gets involved, all bets are off. Twitter exploded. TikTok exploded. Even Instagram, a platform known for vibe photos and filters, erupted into war. That's when fans started comparing careers. YoungBoy sold out shows. His police-filled crowds. The drones. The armored trucks. The 20 extra tour dates. His performance in Atlanta. His key to the city moment. The YoungBoy side looked like a parade. The Choppa side looked like a school group project falling apart. But drama wasn't done. The DL rumors resurfaced and refused to die. YB fans connected dots that didn't exist, pulled up screenshots from 2018, and turned speculation into temporary truth. Choppa tried to clarify, saying he loved everybody but preferred women, but the internet doesn't care about nuance. They turned his explanation into jokes, and jokes into content, and content into trending ashas. THES. White returned again just to add more chaos. 1 second he called young kids listening to Y be mentally lost. The next second he defended YoungBoy like they were childhood friends. Then he attacked Choppa again for walking the runway. Charleston doesn't choose sides, he chooses violence. He isn't here to educate. He's here to entertain. Even real fans got confused. Some said Charleston was a hypocrite. Others said he was the only one telling the truth. Some said he was an agent of chaos sent by the government. People were arguing harder about Charleston than the actual rappers. That's when you know the beef is out of control, when the commentator becomes part of the storyline. And in the middle of all this, rumors started flying that Choppa embarrassed himself or got exposed. Most of the rumors were fake. Many were I-created nonsense. But they spread faster than the truth because chaos travels at light speed, while facts are too slow to catch up. By now, the internet wasn't watching a beef. They were watching a meltdown. Choppa's reputation was on trial. YoungBoy's fanbase was the judge. Charleston White was the prosecutor. And the internet was the executioner. The question wasn't who's right. It was who's getting cooked next. When the dust finally started to settle, the internet realized this wasn't just a rap beef anymore. This was a reputation war, a digital courtroom where every old tweet, every interview clip, every rumor, and every emotional moment was being used as evidence. It didn't matter who was right. It didn't matter who started it. The only thing the internet cared about was who looked weaker, and for the first time in a long time. NLE Choppa found himself in the hottest spotlight of his career. Choppa thought dropping KO would put YoungBoy on defense. Instead, it made the internet dissect his every move like scientists studying an alien creature. The old I am coming out tweet resurfaced. The runway model clip resurfaced. The soft-spoken spiritual interviews resurfaced. Even fans from years ago came back with screenshots claiming they always knew something was up. It wasn't fair. But the internet never promised fairness. It promised entertainment. Meanwhile, YoungBoy sat back, watching the chaos like a king, observing civilians argue about his decisions. He didn't need to drop a diss track. He didn't need to respond with bars. His fanbase fought the war for him with memes sharper than knives. Every time Choppa explained himself, YB fans twisted his explanation into another joke. Every time Choppa tried to defend his name, someone dug up another clip. It was a cycle with no exit. Then came the moment that shifted the entire conversation. Fans started comparing the influence of both artists. And that's where the gap looked massive. YoungBoy had sold-out arenas, police escorts, drones in the sky, armored trucks. Crowds so wild they needed emergency protocols. Choppa had positivity videos, spiritual content, and moments of viral peace. But none of that helped him in a war fought with mockery. The internet was looking for dominance, not balance. Academics added even more fuel by calling YoungBoy the king of rap in front of millions of viewers. Whether people agreed or not didn't matter. The statement alone shifted energy. Fans quoted it everywhere, calling Choppa jealous, calling him late to the party, saying he returned to the rap scene only because Y was dominating the culture again. It wasn't true, but truth wasn't required. Narrative was everything. The chaos escalated when Charleston White flip-flopped again, switching sides with zero shame. One week he said YB's fans needed mental institutions. The next week he said Choppa couldn't talk tough because he walked a runway like a bad girl on premiere night. His words were messy, unfiltered, unpredictable, and that's exactly why they stuck. Charleston doesn't have fans. He has spectators, and his spectators amplified everything 10 times louder. But this beef wasn't just attacking careers. It started hitting personal identities. Choppa felt targeted for being spiritual, for being emotional, for being expressive, for being different from the stereotypical rapper archetype. Meanwhile, YoungBoy was painted as a chaotic storm, a dangerous influence, a leader of lost youth. Both men were getting boxed into caricatures, Choppa as the soft sage, Y as the reckless demon. Some fans started questioning why rappers couldn't evolve without being mocked. Others argued Choppa brought it on himself by trying to straddle both peace and violence. They said you can't be a meditation coach at noon and drop a throat-cutting diss track by midnight. It confused people. It made him look inconsistent. And in an era where confidence is currency, inconsistency is fatal. But YoungBoy had his own problems. Critics repeated Charleston's words, saying YB's music was dangerous for kids with no guidance. They said his content made young men angry, paranoid, aggressive, and emotionally unstable. They replayed clips of Charleston mocking YB babies, saying they needed therapy more than headphones. The criticism wasn't new, but it was louder now that Choppa echoed it in KO. It made some listeners rethink things. It made others double down. And that brings things to the deeper impact, the fan division. YoungBoy fans saw Choppa as a traitor. Choppa fans saw YB as a toxic influence. Neutral fans saw both sides cooking each other alive for entertainment. The lines were drawn so sharply that even people with no interest in rap found themselves picking sides because the drama was impossible to escape. Then came the bigger consequence: credibility. Street credibility, industry credibility, fan credibility. Everything was suddenly up for debate. YoungBoy mocking Choppa's upbringing, saying his mom wasn't a gangster, made some fans laugh but made others cringe. It felt childish. It felt petty. But in the world of rap, pettiness often wins. Meanwhile, Charleston trashing Choppa's runway walk hit harder than expected. It made people whisper. It made people reconsider. It made people question his ability to stand on business. But despite all the noise, something unexpected started happening. A wave of fans started defending Choppa. They said he was brave for calling out the toxicity in rap culture. Brave for calling out the toxicity in rap culture. They said he spoke truth about YB's influence. They said masculinity doesn't need to fit the street stereotype. They said Choppa was being cyberbullied by a massive fanbase addicted to chaos on the other side. Many said YoungBoy proved yet again that he's immune to industry pressure. They praised his raw talent, his cult-like following, his ability to shake the internet with a single sentence. They said Choppa underestimated what happens when you diss the rapper with the wildest fan army on earth. But behind all the opinions, all the hysteria, all the fake leaks and wild rumors, one truth remained. This beef changed the conversation around both rappers. Choppa wasn't seen as the innocent peace rapper anymore. YoungBoy wasn't seen as just a troubled star anymore. Both were exposed, analyzed, and magnified by millions using emotionally charged lenses. And when the war of words finally slowed down, the internet realized this wasn't about who rapped better. It was about who controlled the culture. Choppa dropped the stronger diss track. YoungBoy controlled the stronger narrative. Choppa won musically. YoungBoy won digitally. And in 2025, the digital victory hits harder. Yet this story isn't over. Not even close. Because rap beef doesn't die. It sleeps, it waits, it reloads, and the next spark between these two. It might not be a diss track. It might not be a tweet. It might not even be intentional, but it will be loud. It will be messy. And it will remind the world that rap beef isn't entertainment. It's a contact sport, and if you made it all the way through this volcanic meltdown of diss tracks, rumor explosions, mama drama, Charleston White chaos, fake leaks, and fan bases fighting like they get paid by the comment. Congratulations. You officially survived another day in the wild, lawless jungle known as 2025 hip-hop internet. This wasn't beef. This was a full-blown emotional demolition derby with every fanbase throwing hands, theories, and emojis like their Wi-Fi depended on it. But before this saga erupts again, and trust me, it absolutely will, you already know what to do. Smash that like button like it owes you money, because this type of chaos doesn't narrate itself. Hit that subscribe button like you're trying to knock out a rumor before it hits the timeline. And drop a comment telling me exactly where you stand. Are you riding with YoungBoy's unstoppable energy and his fan base that moves like a digital militia? Or are you rocking with NLE Choppa's lyrical precision and his mission to call out the madness eating the youth alive? Tell me your theories. Tell me your predictions. Tell me who you think is dropping the next bomb, because trust me, someone is already typing up their next diss, deleting it, rewriting it, and pretending they're chilling. And don't forget, the internet never sleeps, and neither does the drama. The next viral meltdown leaks screenshot, mother-involved rant, Charleston White plot twist, or rapper losing their mind on camera is already warming up backstage. This is the rap truth, where the tea is scorching, the takes are lethal, and the chaos is always undefeated. Stay locked in, the next scandal is already loading.